Hey guys, we're here at NAPE at the Bitcoin Mining Pavilion. I'm here with Chris Alfano, the CEO of 360 Mining. It's exciting to be here. This is your first NAPE.
This is my first NAPE, yeah. This cultural experience is what everyone told me, and
Yep.
I feel like I'm getting indoctrinated into the NAPE culture here, so I'm pretty fired up.
8,000 people, George R. Brown convention. I mean, it's huge.
Oh, it's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is also my first time really spending a decent amount of time in Houston, so I'm getting the whole experience.
So you're a DFW guy?
Yeah, originally from California, but went to school in DFW and
SMU?
SMU.
Okay.
Yeah, I was finance at SMU and started my career in Dallas and in software and SaaS platforms, and then moved down to Austin and kind of found myself wanting to get into Bitcoin and trying to see how that was going to work, kind of being a hobbyist for a long time. Knew I wanted to make it a career, and one thing led to another, met some people, and knew I wanted to get into mining, and so it was all about trying to figure out a sustainable long-term business model that was secure and something that we felt like we could do for a really long time, and try to de-risk it as much as possible.
So how was that transition? Tell us a little bit, like,
yeah,
how did you talk to your wife about it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my wife still has no idea what I'm doing, but she smiles and nods her heads and tries to understand. But I mean, it's funny. I always tell people, like, coming through software, something breaks, you just fix a line of code and works for months and years without ever having to touch it again. So this is kind of my first foray into the real world where stuff breaks all the time. And so the transition was definitely, I was like one of those naive miners. I was like, oh, it's a computer. I have a computer at home. I'm just going to plug the computer in. It's going to run. And it's great. Yeah. Right. But, in the oil field, obviously things don't work all the time as you expect. And then in Bitcoin mining, they don't either. So I'd say, like, it's definitely been a learning experience, but we've got the kinks worked out and it's going great now. But definitely was an interesting and humbling experience to get the company off the ground and get going.
As you get the company off the ground, what are you doing? Like, you're specializing in off-grid,
right?
Stranded gas,
non-stranded gas. So that's kind of like the unique thing about our business model is, when we were looking at Bitcoin mining and, the price of Bitcoin's at $50,000, everyone's flocking to the easiest, way to get power to start mining. And, it didn't really matter what price you were paying at that time because it was so profitable.
Yeah.
We kind of took a different approach and said, look, we've been in this bull market for 10 years, it's the longest bull market ever. Like, things are going to come back to reality. And we wanted to build a business where we could control our own destiny. And that
Are you talking about the energy, the oil and gas bull market? Okay.
I'm talking just about the economic bull market just in general.
Oh,
everything had been propped up and inflated.
Yeah.
Stocks, Bitcoin, everything was super high. I was like, man, things are great right now, kind of across the board, but things are going to come back to reality. They have to.
Yeah.
So, we knew we wanted to get into Bitcoin mining. We wanted to do that. And I think the trick in Bitcoin mining is how you produce and procure your power, what are the terms of your power. And we saw the industry, and the way we looked at it was the best way for us to build something long-term is to control our power and control our own destiny. And that meant vertically integrating all the way to, like, the power source, where the power originates. We felt like that was the best way to, one, get inexpensive power for decades. Yeah. Do it without counterparties. And control the actual underlying energy. And so that meant, okay, well, how do we, become our own power producer? How do we, like, originate power? And just being in Texas, natural gas is abundant. It's always for sale. It's kind of why we're here at NAPE. There's assets transacting all the time, and it's quick, right? You can go get generators in there in a matter of months and be mining in a matter of months, whereas, the grid or other energy sources just takes a lot longer, right? So, we looked at solar, we looked at wind, we looked at, obviously, like, nuclear. Like, those things take a lot of time. They take a lot of money. And natural gas is just, it's a lot quicker. And the other thing that's really interesting about our model being non-stranded gas is that we have a pipeline there, right? Yeah. So we have an offtake option. So we look at it like natural, it's the price of natural, it's optionality. Yeah. It's a natural hedge. So we're not necessarily all in on Bitcoin. We're not all in on natural gas. And we use those two uncorrelated commodities to, maximize our revenue, maximize our performance. And, ultimately Bitcoin mining is the priority, and that's what we're going to do. But we have, an abundance of natural gas revenue that subsidizes that whole Bitcoin mining process. So we can kind of lever or, like, throttle up and down our gas consumption for our Bitcoin miners. And again, every day we look at the two commodity prices and we say, where's that gas molecule going to make the most money?
They're almost inversely correlated.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
mean, are.
Recently they've been.
Recently, oh, for sure. I mean, we saw in July of last year, natural gas prices were racing up, $6 up to $9 in August. all the while Bitcoin was collapsing.
Yeah.
Network hash rate was piling on. The price of Bitcoin was going down, and energy prices were.
So you were selling.
We were selling gas, right?
Yeah.
And our other miners are dealing with a much dire situation where their energy prices are increasing, and they're all the while their top line revenues coming down dramatically, and their input cost is doubling, and we were sitting there throttling back our miners and selling more gas and maintaining really strong cash flow. So that's
fascinating.
That's kind of why we built the company the way we did, and we spent October and November recompleting some of our wells and increasing gas volume, which was again really attractive at those gas prices. A little bit less so now.
Yeah. Well, so now what's the play? Is it? I mean, gas is $3.
Yeah, it's not like $2.50.
$2.50.
Yeah, and it's not showing any signs of slowing down. So the play was a part of the well recompletion in February or in December and November was to increase our gas supply so we could keep building mining.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the end game is mining. That's what we want to be doing with all of our gas.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that we can invest in our gas wells and monetize that gas while we're building out mining facilities through the pipeline, which makes that project economically viable.
What's the power generation? Is it literally a generator, or are you talking about some sort of non-combined cycle, small like miniature?
Yeah. So it's reciprocating engines, reciprocating gensets. It's bigger than most gas miner installments,
right,
which are using a lot of smaller mobile generators. Our generators are, megawatt size plus, which has a lot of benefits.
So they're permanent infrastructure.
Yeah, they're containerized, like they're mobile, but they're just a lot bigger. And if they're a lot bigger, they're a lot more efficient, right? So it takes less gas to generate watts.
Okay.
And that's really important to us because every molecule of gas that's not consumed by the generator is gas that's sold down the pipeline, right? So efficiency in our engines are really important. As we continue to grow, it opens the door into turbines, larger turbines, potentially combined cycle over time. If we can vertically integrate a lot of gas at one site, you just get to move up that ladder of efficiency. And
then you have a third optionality. You could do sell the gas, sell to the grid, or mine.
So that's kind of the third lever is the real-time energy prices in ERCOT market, right? So it's something called distributed generation. We're setting up as a settlement-only distributed generator, which gives us optionality. So it enables us to sell our power back into the grid in that real-time market, right? And I think you look at that and you say, okay, well, natural gas is going to be correlated to power prices. And it is, yes, but natural gas does not nearly have the volatility that power prices do in real time, nor does the settlement of natural gas at the end of the month, enable you to capitalize on those little increments where natural gas does spike. You just get the average price for the month, whereas in power,
5-minute increments.
5-minute increments, it might make a ton of sense to sell our power for, $3,000 a megawatt hour, but, just selling gas down the pipeline is not going to net us nearly as much. And, powering the Bitcoin miners is probably going to be somewhere in between there. So
So I know you can't say exactly where, but this is west of Fort Worth?
This is the Barnett Shale, which is North Dallas, DFW, Tarrant County.
Got it.
So kind of north of Fort Worth.
North of Fort Worth, okay.
And all the way up really to the Oklahoma border.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know by the time this video comes out, it'll be public knowledge, but we're going to host the summit in Fort Worth next year.
Yes.
We think that Fort Worth is really going to embrace this industry. The city government is on board. DFW is twice the size of Austin, or probably 3 times the size of Austin, actually.
Yep.
And conferences are a dime a dozen in Austin, so we're going to go to Fort Worth.
Yeah, we love it. Look, I mean, we're in Fort Worth creating jobs and, bringing a new industry to an old industry. And, we took over these dilapidated gas wells that were, drilled in 2005, and we're overhauling them and, increasing, tax revenue for Fort Worth and bringing people in and jobs. And so, we're all in, and it's just a great place. And what they've done already with, mining at the city level is really cool. And they're, literally now by example. So it's definitely a place we want to be and support that. It's in our backyard. We want to support that conference and have people out.
Are y'all bootstrapping this operation, or are you raising capital?
Yeah, so we've raised capital twice now to kind of get it off the ground, and then again to invest in like the growth of primarily the gas wells and doubling our mining footprint at the site. We'll continue to look at attractive capital options, whether that's equity or debt. Low cost of capital. If there's a way for us to take down more capital and continue to grow, we're absolutely looking to do that.
Yeah. Wow. So what are you most excited about in 2023? A bull market in Bitcoin?
I'd say the most exciting things, having now proved a business model and proven something that we think is really unique and novel in the space. There's no one really doing pipeline connected gas.
I've not heard of anybody doing it.
And so we think we have the skills, we've proven it, we have the acumen, and we're really excited about hopefully 10xing what we're doing. And so that starts here at NAPE, trying to find our next asset. We're looking at 2 assets right now, and it really starts with the gas. And so if we can go underwrite and acquire much larger gas assets, then that's going to bode well for our continued growth. And so that's kind of always been the plan, is prove it out at this pilot site, something novel, something new. We've done that, and it's time to really scale this thing up. So it's going to be a big year for us. We're really excited.
Well, congratulations. It's exciting. We'll be following your progress. Guys, you can find Chris at 360 Mining, also on Twitter.
Yes, on Twitter, at Chris Alfano 360.
Perfect.
I think, hopefully.
Yeah.
But 360 Mining's got Twitter too, and 360mining.com. And
wonderful.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. Appreciate it.
Hey everybody, Ryan Harper. I'm sitting at the NAPE Summit 2023 here in Houston, Texas at the TBC Pump Power podcast booth. And I just wanted to give a couple of updates about the summit and what we have planned. We just went live with our ticketing, and I just sent an email out to, 5,000 plus people to get early bird ticketing. But that's not why I wanted to do a video. One of the things I wanted to convey is what we have planned, what we have aspirations to be, and how we see the summit being moving forward. The last 2 years have been amazing events, and it's been centralized around Texas, centralized around policy, and great efforts in Austin, Texas. Moving forward, we want to have a much bigger footprint. We're going to be in Fort Worth in November 15th and 16th. We're going to be at the convention center. We're going to have a trade show floor. We're going to have speakers that you didn't think that we could get. We have aspirations to get some high quality, high profile people, both in policy, both in political world, and in the Bitcoin blockchain digital asset space. We're going to have workshops, we're going to have startups, we're going to have universities, we're going to have nonprofits, we're going to have opportunities for startups to pitch their products. We're going to have opportunities for nonprofits to kind of showcase what they're doing, their social initiative. Our goal is to include everything that enterprise, blockchain, Bitcoin, digital asset space would want in an event. Bitcoin Miami is amazing. Consensus is amazing. Both of those events have 20,000 plus people, but both of those events are probably more of your retail space. Our goal is to make the summit the premier policy, Bitcoin, blockchain, digital asset space for everyone across the country. If you're an enterprise, if you're professional, if you want to do deals, if you want to make real change, the summit is where you need to be. This video was supposed to be 30 seconds. You're welcome. Anyway, we look forward to giving you more updates, and we'll see you at the summit.